In the summer of '84, 3 teens, a knife, and a bad idea they call a sacrifice. Ricky swears the devil is listening, and he's desperate to prove it. In the moonlit woods, a corpse sits up for an audience, and the bill for fame comes due in blood.
What's that? You want to be scared? Come with me. You will experience tales of horror, ghosts, and death. It is not recommended for the weak at heart. Listen in the dark. It's more fun that way. This is Weekly Spooky.
Hello, my spookies. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for a little spooky in your weekly. I'm your host and narrator, Enrique Couto, and tonight's story is based, though loosely, on a true story. And if you want to hear the true story, you can tune in next week on Monday for Terrifying and True to hear all the pertinent and bloody details. But before we get to all of that, I want to say thank you all so much for listening. I've noticed many of you spookies joining up because Halloween is almost here, and on top of that, today is my birthday. I'm turning 39 years old, and this is the first time in 6 years of Weekly Spooky that an episode has dropped on the day of my birth. So, while you're listening to this, rest assured that I am eating way too much seafood and enjoying myself before I get back in the booth to make sure you have something scary to enjoy. And if you want to leave me a little birthday gift, just go to weeklyspooky.com/join and sign up for as little as $1 a month. You'll get 2 bonus episodes every single month and my undying gratitude. That's at weeklyspooky.com/join. And make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcasting app because this October, we have plenty of brand new programming. 31 shows in 31 days. But as for tonight, it begins on a sticky June night in 1984, when a loudmouth kid with a taste for pills decides the devil owes him a favor. In the whispering woods, something answers, a promise of power, if others will look upon what Ricky has done. But some doors, once open, do not close. Get cozy. This satanic terror tale starts after this. What Ricky Did on His Summer Vacation by Dan Wilder. June 19th, 1984. You know what we should do, Skullhammer? Come on, Ricky. Can't you just call me Jimmy or Jay or anything other than that? What the fuck ever, James. You chose the name. Yeah, and now I unchose it. Well, you better come up with something. We need to reject those Christian names. I think my parents are agnostic. Shut up, James. So, as I was saying, know what we should do? No, I guess I don't. We should offer a sacrifice. Sacrifice? Yeah, to Satan. We need to step things up. I don't know, man. It was cool to get stoned and talk about demons and shit, but killing someone? Not someone. That fucker Gary. Gary? Yes, Gary. That asslips stole shit from me and passed that prime product out at Carrie's house party, free of charge, like he was a goddamn hero. I mean, free drugs are admittedly a real crowd pleaser, but a lousy way to run a business. And business is necessary because money is. The root of all evil, I know. Bingo, pal. Now let's call Al and get this show on the road. Well, that certainly was a letdown, Ricky said, spitting an errant piece of flesh from his blood-stained mouth. A letdown? You bit pieces of him off, Rick! You'd think that would be enough to get his attention, Jimmy. I don't think those were microdots, Albert gurgled, before violently vomiting for the third time in as many minutes. Yeah, I'm getting that vibe too. Not mescaline. Maybe LSD? Ricky pondered, wiping one bodily fluid or another from his satanic robes. In truth, a cute costume his Nana had sewed for him, so he could play his little role games with his friends. Al barfed in response. Crows called out in the distance. Hear that, boys? Maybe we got his attention after all. Jimmy and Al looked skyward nervously. The crows cawed once again. Then Gary coughed. Seriously, Ricky? Ricky held Gary's eyes in his hands, though the knife he recently dropped made them look like a pair of sliced, bloody, hard-boiled eggs. I panicked. I stabbed him like 18 times. Shouldn't that have been enough to keep him down? You would think, Jimmy added feebly. Al had stopped blowing chunks and now just laid in the fetal position, muttering, Do you love Satan? I love my mother. I loved his mother. Over and over again, a constant parroting of Gary's final words. The prior vomiting was preferable. Okay, he's definitely dead this time. Come on, Satan. Where are thee? The crow calls rang out again. I know you are here, my lord. And I hear the song of your unholy murder. Ricky unironically yelled to the heavens. They roughly hid Gary's body under some leaves and various forest debris type shit and hoofed it home. That night, Ricky slept in slumber, screamed, because the devil walked into his dream. For all his posturing, Ricky wasn't prepared for what stood before him. Not that he could focus on the being, as it was obscured by an ever-shifting, blurry haze. But the thing that stood in there was vastly different than a man with a goatee in a red suit with horns and a pitchfork. The horns were definitely there, though, long and black with tips that ended in deep crimson. Satan spoke. The woodland sacrifice. I am pleased. The voice was unearthly and echoed back on itself. Thanks, sire. I will allow you to speak when I am finished. Sorry. Again, your insolence is wearing on my patience. Ricky gulped and almost apologized again, but a fleeting glimpse of Lucifer's face in the miasma made him mercifully shut his mouth for once. Others need to be in the presence of the sacrifice. Ricky was about to mention the danger of that course of action, but a long-fingered hand, tipped with obsidian nails, reached from the smear and clamped tight over Ricky's mouth. The smell of fresh apples and rotting flesh filled his nose. Others, Lucifer intoned once more. Then the power shall be yours, along with a tidy profit. Ricky snapped awake and immediately reached for a joint. And with Satan's decree in his mind, he thought of those he would find, and with a puff of his spliff, he saw dollar signs instead of a stiff. June 20th, 1984. Ricky stumbled down the hall to the kitchen, where his mother greeted him with a glass of orange juice and her normal, busybody nonsense. Ricky sat down, took a pull of juice, and began flicking a red 20-sided die around the table. "Good morning, honey. Remember, I have that meeting at church tonight. The Reverend is going to talk about that horrible Dungeons and Dragons game and its satanic influence on the youth. I'm so glad you aren't into such business." "Uh-huh," Ricky said, emotionless, as he put the die back into the pocket of his jean jacket. "I really think you should come. Your friends look up to you, so you could be a shining example for them." I can't tonight. Speaking of friends, one of mine is sick, practically dead on his feet. So Jimmy and Al and I are going to go keep him company." Ricky's mother's eyes filled with tears. "You are a saint, Ricky. You know that? So proud of the man you're becoming."
You're not safe yet. Weekly Spooky will be right back.
Ricky met his friends at the convenience store down the block. The terrible trio managed to lift both a six-pack of beer and a Hustler mag before they set off down the streets of Northport, as Ricky began to detail his plans, and he led off with a real corker. "I talked to Satan last night." "The fuck are you talking about?" "Wait, Jimmy, let's hear this out. Ricky's always been a straight shooter. I had a dream, and in the dream Satan said he was pleased with what we did to Gary, but he said we should show other people." "Are you fucking kidding me? Like who?" "Oh, I know. The cops. I'm sure they'll love what we, mostly you, did." "Finished?" Jimmy nodded grimly. "Good. Now I trust Satan to the nth degree. Why would he fuck with us, his most loyal followers?" Ricky punctuated that sass with a 1,000-yard stare at Jimmy. "And what are we supposed to do? Just take them out there and let them look at it?" "That I do not know, but maybe you two can prop him up or something. A little showmanship can go a long way. Hell, maybe we can have it both ways. The idiots I bring may believe old Gary is still alive while I barter with the beast." "How will you get the people to come, Ricky?" "Easy, Al, old chum. Free drugs." "Seems fitting, given Gary's antics," Jimmy said appreciatively. "Poetic, even. And once I have them there, they can feast their eyes on Gary's corpse. And you can just say you smoked him up on some strong shit to show the hatchet is buried. Exacta mundo, my dear Al. Exacta fucking mundo." While Jimmy and Al headed to the woods, Brews and Porno Mag well in hand, Ricky headed to the arcade. He plunked a few quarters into Crystal Castles, which was the coolest game one could imagine that starred a glorified teddy bear. And then he played a few rounds of Bally Midway's Satan's Hollow, a tried and true favorite that seemed incredibly relevant given the current state of events. After that, he strolled over to the pizza place next door and ordered a fried dough. It was there that he saw Tanya, waiting for a slice of sausage and mushroom to come out of the oven. "Hey, Tanya." "Oh, hey, Ricky. What's up? How's summer been going?" "You know, rad, I guess." Yeah, Tanya countered. "After you grab that slice, wanna head out to the woods and get baked?" "I don't have any cash besides what I paid for the slice." "It's on me," Ricky said with a shit-eating grin a mile wide. "Yeah, okay, for sure." As Ricky led Tanya into the clearing, it was obvious they had indulged in some illicit substance or another. But through the fogginess of his brain, Ricky had to admit the guys had really pulled it off. Gary sat in a lawn chair, wearing sunglasses, and while pale as all fuck, he didn't look as dead as he was. The lingering scent of at least 3 cans of insect repellent wafted from Gary, which both made him smell less like a dead man in summer, and did a hero's job of keeping away pests that, most surely, would have been lining up for a free all-you-can-eat rot buffet. "Is that Gary?" "Oh, why, yes it is." "I need to talk to him. He owes me $5. Okay, but don't expect much in the way of a response. I smoked his ass up sky high earlier." "Don't you two hate each other?" "I'm sorry, is this Tanya or Sherlock fucking Holmes? We kissed and made up. Go talk to him if you have to." "Okay, grumpy-ass smurf. God damn." Tanya sauntered over to Gary, but most of what she said to him was lost to the ambient racket of Mother Nature. The words $5 were heard loudly, multiple times. Ricky wondered where Jimmy and Al had gone off to, but he remembered the six-pack and porno mag, and smiled as he thought, they really earned it. He was about to tumble into a chemically assisted daydream when he happened to turn his gaze back to Tanya. Tanya appeared to be preparing to give Gary some sort of epic blowjob. She was on her knees and doing extreme jaw exercises with such athletic passion that an Olympian would surely be impressed. This sobered Ricky up right quick, to say the least. Whoa, Tanya, what the fuck, dude?" "What? What do you mean, what?" "He looks good. We used to go out, and besides, he wanted it." "Okay, not today, though. He wouldn't enjoy it anyway. He's too stoned." Tanya stood and looked at Gary. "Yeah, I guess you're right. I could have sworn I heard him whisper." "What the hell are you talking about?" "Whispering. You know, quiet talking." "I know what whispering is, Tanya." Ricky was growing ever more heated, but then he remembered the importance of keeping up the ruse and keeping his ass out of prison. "I mean, he could have said anything in this state. What do you think you heard him say?" "He asked me how I felt about giving head." Ricky swallowed hard. "What did you say?" "I said ask me when it's over, and that's when you found me. Like I said, we went out before. I have to admit that is a bold thing to say out of the blue and all." Tanya could feel herself getting lightheaded again from whatever shit Ricky gave her. She sat down on the grass, and Ricky joined her, and with that she plopped over, with her head in Ricky's lap, and closed her eyes. Before she slipped into slumber, she managed to say, "In hindsight, I don't think he said giving head after all. I think it was more like being dead." With that, She began to snore softly, which in turn inspired Ricky's own descent into slumber.
Don't go away. Weekly Spooky will be right back.
Ricky awoke to notice two things. One, the sun was going down, and two, Tanya was missing. Well, three things actually, as Gary's corpse now bore a rictus grin. Ricky managed to rise to his feet and make his way home with a tipsy swagger. He awoke the next morning and headed to Jimmy's house. Jimmy was there, along with Al. Both were wearing dark sunglasses, regardless of the fact the day was overcast. I brought Tanya out to see Gary. You guys did an awesome job. He looked almost alive. Jimmy and Al exchanged glances. We didn't get him ready. What the hell are you talking about, Jimmy? We went out there and we just couldn't. Yeah, he just looked so alive, Al offered. So we pissed off, drank the beer. I think Al fell asleep whacking it to that mag we boosted. Yeah, wait, maybe not that last part, Al retorted. No, that's definitely what happened. Well, somebody was out there, sat him in a lawn chair, stuck shades on him. Maybe whoever did that should be in the Knights of the Black Circle instead of you two fuck-ups. Technically, we didn't fuck anything up, Ricky. Yeah, we didn't do it at all. No way to fuck it up, Al offered, to no one's benefit. Ricky looked as if he were about to punch them both simultaneously, but only managed a string of profanities, followed by some indecipherable, though no doubt violent mumbling about what to do with his friend. Wait, did you say you took Tanya out there? Yeah, but she was gone when I woke up. Oh, you fell asleep too, eh? Our glorious Acid King. Jim, I'm going to fucking kill your ass next if you don't shut up like yesterday. Jimmy clammed up, and the trio made their way to the woods to check on Gary, and hopefully run into whoever sat him in that damn chair. Gary was still in the chair when they arrived, but his sunglasses were on his lap. His eyes were milky and stared into the distance, unblinking as flies landed and walked across their surface. That's freaking me out. Al, put those glasses back on him. Al gulped hard and walked gingerly over to Gary. He reached into the corpse's lap and put the glasses back in their place. The flies took off for parts unknown. Al gagged and rejoined his friends. Ricky switched on the omnipresent boombox and hit play. But instead of Ozzy barking at the moon, a voice hissed forth as if it came from the depths of hell itself, which it did. Ricky, you've done well, but more souls must bear witness to your glorious deed. More, Ricky. Bring more. Are you guys hearing this? Yeah, bark at the moon. It's awesome, Al exclaimed. Ricky decided to clam up. Satan obviously chose him and him alone to receive direct contact. I've changed my mind. Why don't you two take the day off? We don't work for you, Rick. Ricky's face did that weird left eye twitchy thing that both Jimmy and Al knew damn well meant get the fuck out of here. Al and Jimmy shuffled off for parts unknown, Jimmy bitching under his breath nonstop. All right, Gary, it's you and me, and Satan makes 3. Ricky swallowed a handful of pills and headed to the neighborhood of tract homes that sat adjacent to the woods. As the drugs kicked in, any thoughts of Gary's displacement dissipated into the ether of Ricky's chemically induced brain fog. And so it went, for days and days. Ricky would lure some poor, unsuspecting dumbass or another into those woods. The rube would speak to the stiff, the acid king would get drowsy, and when Ricky went wakey, eggs and Baphomet bakey, whomever had paid a visit would be gone. And every damn time, that corpse would be striking a different pose.
Did you hear that? Better check the locks on your doors. Weekly Spooky will be right back.
July 1st, 1984. Ricky sat in the small diner in town with Jimmy. Both shot threatening glares at the ancient pearl clutchers that continued to shoot them looks and whisper among themselves. People are starting to talk, Rick. Those old biddies? Fuck 'em. No, I mean about Tanya and some of the other kids you brought out there. What about 'em? You don't watch the news, man? No way. The media is a Christian propaganda machine. Ricky took a bite of his omelet and chased it with a gulp of steaming hot coffee. Yeah, whatever. Parents do tend to notice when their kids don't come home after a few days. What the fuck are you talking about? Not coming home. Yeah, dude, they're missing, and folks are starting to say you were the last person they were seen with. Who cares? Well, me for one. I really had no plans of spending my summer and every fucking summer after it with my ass in a cell. Jimmy, Jim, James, listen, do you think Satan would let us go to jail for doing him a favor? About that, Rick, you are high all of the damn time. Do you think we may have just went too far because of the drugs and not due to paranormal manipulations of a biblical boogeyman? Jimmy's sense-talking left Ricky dizzy. I can't believe you even said that shit. The waitress sauntered over to the table. You two going to nurse that meal all day? Jesus, lady, back off! With that, the waitress sped to the kitchen and returned with Ivor, the diner's owner and resident cook. Ivor held a cleaver in one hand and a smoldering cigarette in the other. Of course, you idiots again. The kings of Satan's ass. It's Knights of the Black Circle, Ricky spat, genuinely offended. Ivor could care less about Ricky's feelings and made it known. Whatever. Get your pimple-covered ass out of here, or there will be 2 more missing kids around here. Ricky was crazy, but he wasn't crazy enough to challenge an Eastern European mountain of a man with a razor-sharp blade in his hands and a rather sketchy past. Ricky got up, Jimmy followed, and the two headed for the door. As the duo passed a large mirror located by the entrance of the eatery, Ricky saw only his own reflection for a fraction of a second, and while Jimmy should have been right there beside him, the image revealed only Ricky. Fucking shit's hitting hard today, he whispered to himself. Later that day, Ricky was enticing another teenage girl to follow him into the woods to see a corpse. As the days passed, it was well past the point where Ricky could convince anyone, no matter how high, that Gary was still alive. Fortunately, it was now impossible to even recognize the heap of liquefying flesh and exposed areas of bone as Gary, so he could just toss out "I found a dead guy in the woods. Want to see him?" which Ricky believed was a solid way to hide his crime, long enough for him to receive his infernal reward. As Ricky and the girl, whose name Ricky could never remember, even though he had been in classes with her since second grade, headed to the woods, Ricky noticed a large number of police cars buzzing by. "Maybe we should do this tomorrow," Ricky said. "No way, asshole! You promised me a dead body!" Ricky had forgotten she was there, but now he couldn't forget. "Jesus Christ, Samantha?" "It's Julie, Ricky." Julie shot daggers at Ricky with her eyes. "Yeah, Julie, whatever. Look, tomorrow you will see him, just not right now. Here, take these." Ricky handed her a fistful of random pills. "Wait, for free?" "Yeah, go for it." "You're all right, Ricky," Julie beamed before heading off to parts unknown to get absolutely destroyed. Ricky was starting to sweat. That night, the Dark Lord visited Ricky once more. "Richard, we just need one more witness before you get your boon." "But the heat is on. It's getting harder and harder to get people out there." "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had a loyal disciple. A bitch, for sure, but you are a whiny bitch, which is starting to irk me." The being became clear for a moment. A shimmering thing of eerie beauty became a mass of sharp-toothed mouths, multiple eyes, and nightmares. Ricky simply puked as the impossible horror of it all blew his fucking mind harder than any dubious pharmaceutical. July 4th, 1984. Ricky awoke to find a pile of well-dried, crusty vomit on his sheets. He tumbled weakly from his bed and made his way to the kitchen. And there was his mother, cheerful and ready to chit-chat. "Fuck me," he muttered as he entered the room and poured himself a mug of coffee. "Feeling better, hun?" "Huh?" Ricky retorted wittily. "You've slept for the last 3 days." "I've been sick. Caught something at work." "Oh no. Well, I'll do your laundry and change your sheets." "Thanks," he said flatly. "I almost forgot. A nice young man was giving away comic books, and I know you love your funnies, so I brought you one." Ricky's mom slid a small pamphlet his way. A crude 4-page illustrated story of the devil-courting dangers of Dungeons and Dragons, metal music, the Smurfs, He-Man, and food additives. Ricky then remembered he had a mission, and the thoughts of mystic powers he'd obtain for dragging another fucker out to the trees to slap their eyes on gruesome Gary perked him up considerably. He stood up, kissed his mother, and decided to make sure the coast was clear before he brought out anyone else to the woods. "Don't forget the fireworks display tonight," his mother reminded him, but he was already out the door. The heat was indeed on. Ricky hid behind some shrubs as he saw the police exit the woods with a body bag and a cadre of canine units. "Shit on me," Ricky said under his breath, as a heavy hand fell on his shoulder. Ricky exited the squad car in front of the jailhouse. There was Jimmy and Al, talking to officers and no doubt trying to save their own asses. A crowd had gathered as well. Town busybodies, some ladies from the church, Tanya, everyone else he'd showed Gary to. "Missing my ass," Ricky grumbled. Ricky was led inside as the doors closed on the world outside.
More scares to come. Weekly Spooky will be right back.
Ricky was processed and tossed into a cell. He picked up bits and pieces from the cops shooting the shit to learn he had been seen with absolutely no one for the last 2 weeks, walking back and forth to the woods alone, eating at the diner alone. Hell, since the deed, Al and Jimmy hadn't even been willing to hang out with him. Ricky, of course, believed none of it. July 7th, 1984. Ricky slept in his cell. This time, Satan simply spoke to him. "One more, Ricky." "That ain't gonna happen. I'm stuck in here and Gary is in the morgue." "Wait a minute. All those cops, the morticians, they all saw him. I over-delivered." Ricky laughed as hot tears poured down his cheeks. "I'm afraid those are not the rules." "Aren't you all about breaking fucking rules?" "Not when these things are concerned. You have to bring those that bear witness." "Well, I'm cooked then." "There is another way." Satan seemed to whisper directly in Ricky's left ear. Ricky nodded and pondered. He looked down to his waist and flashed a wicked grin. Those bumbling pigs forgot to take something from Ricky. The officer that brought Ricky a tray of food stopped short at the door to the prisoner's cell. There Ricky hung by his neck from the spiked leather belt that no one had saw fit to remove upon his incarceration. Ricky was still grinning ear to ear as he awaited his dark gift as the light exited from his eyes. "Come on, man. I want it. Make me famous, motherfucker," Ricky thought. The devil was visible from the corner of Ricky's eye. He'd made himself more human. His left hand extended, middle finger raised. The darkness swallowed Ricky as he fell into endless night. And though a liar by nature, the devil did indeed make Ricky famous. Well, my spookies, I hope you enjoyed that terror tale from our very own producer, Dan Wilder. He always brings the spooky fun with a flair for the disturbing, and I really do enjoy it, and I hope you did too. And remember to subscribe on your favorite podcasting app if you want something fun and spooky to listen to every single Wednesday. And, of course, on Mondays, we bring you a little true crime and folklore. And this Friday, we actually have a special episode of Cutting Deep into Horror, where myself and Rachel talk about how terrifying the idea of alien abduction is in the film Fire in the Sky from 1993. You will not want to miss it. And if you want to support us in a very direct way and get 2 bonus episodes every month, head to weeklyspooky.com/join. That's right, for as little as $1 a month, 2 bonus shows, as well as 5 years of creepypasta readings and exclusive audiobooks at weeklyspooky.com/join. And I want to say an extra special thank you to our Patreon podcast boosters, folks who pay just a little bit more to hear their names at the end of the show. And they are Kate and Lulu, Jessica Fuller, Mike Eschewey, Jenny Green, Amber Hansford, Karen Weemet, Jack Kerr, and Craig Cohen. And if you want to hear your name at the end of the program, just head to weeklyspooky.com/join and sign up at $15 a month or higher, and you'll hear your name out of my spooky, silky voice every Wednesday. So head to weeklyspooky.com/join and join over 90 other spookies in keeping the show going for another 6 years, because October 31st is our 6-year anniversary. But now it's time for me to get back to eating my body weight in crab legs. So stay spooky out there and don't make any deals with Satan. For myself, for my executive producers Rob Fields and Bobbletopia.com, my producer Dan Wilder, and our composer Ray Mattis, I will talk at you next time.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to find your way back next week. But for now, you are safe. Trust me.